record the prayer of Anna, and Anna conceived a child. And after delivery, it names him Samuel. And when Samuel is of age, Anna presents him to the high priest and leave him there at the temple. He devotes him unto God, wholly unto God. One mistake a lot of people make about this scripture, particularly the women, is that they assume that whatever vow a woman make unto God, she's bound by it to execute it to the fullest, with or without the consent of her husband. And this is largely because the Bible itself is silent on the role, the parts of her husband in this situation. Yes, Anna has made a vow unto God, but based on the law, the vow of Anna as a wife is subject to the ratification of her husband. The vow is only valid if the husband validates the vow. And if the husband said no to whatever vow the woman made, it becomes invalid in the sight of God. I just want to be clear about this topic so that we don't, at the end of the day, mislead women, married women, who may get involved in making vows unto God, particularly in many churches where you are encouraged to make a vow, you make a vow unto God, you make a vow of giving XYZ unto God. Some women go as far as using their husband's property to make a vow unto God, and this is completely outrageous. It is wrong. And unfortunately, some of these so-called pastors will sit on it and say that is a seed unto God without the husband's consent. And even when the husband will come to protest and say, look, this is my property, I want it back, many pastors will still stand and say that it has been sold unto God. I don't understand. And is it like this is being done in ignorance by these pastors, or they truly don't, or they are just greedy, serving their own pockets and their belly? When a woman makes a vow unto God, and the husband, upon hearing the vow, said no to it, the woman is let loose of that vow by God himself. She's not under any obligation to fulfill that vow. She's free of that vow. But if the man approves of it or remains silent after hearing the commitment of the wife, he validates that vow, and the woman becomes bound by that oath. Now let's take a Bible reading and see this in the scripture, what the Bible commanded about a woman's vow. We see this in the book of Numbers. In Numbers chapter 30, we are reading from verse 3 to verse 8. Numbers chapter 30, verse 3 to verse 8 read, if a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth, and her father heard her vow, and her bound wherewith she had bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand, and every bound wherewith she had bound her soul shall stand. Verse 5. But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth not any of her vow or of her bond wherewith she had bound her soul shall stand, and the Lord shall forgive her, because her father disallow her. Verse 6. And if she had at or an husband, when she vow or utter oath out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband hear it, and held his peace at her in the day that he hear it, then her vow shall stand, and her bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband disallow her on the day that he hear it, then he shall make a vow which she had vowed, and that which she had uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, of none effect, and the Lord shall forgive her. So, as we see from the scripture, when a woman makes a vow, if she's single in her father's house, and she comes home and tells her father, I have made a vow unto God, I have vowed to give XYZ. If her father disallow her of executing that vow, God himself will forgive her of that vow, because God acknowledged the authority of her father over her. And the same thing if she's married and she comes home and says, look, I have made a pledge. I have pledged to give God 100,000 naira by the end of this month. And her husband said, no, I forbid you doing that. You just can't do that. Why can't you do things like that? Now, by God's own ordination, the woman is set free from that vow because her husband disallowed of it. That is the law. So when women say they sow seeds, particularly churches who teach seed sowing, I will be making another video to explain and to teach the validity, the implication of seed sowing. So churches who teach sow a seed, and a woman is meant to give away her husband's car or her husband's properties, house, land, or any form of property in the name of sowing a seed. It is wrong. As a matter of fact, it is absolutely wrong. Especially when the man heard of it and goes to the church and says, look, I have not authorized my wife to do XYZ in the church. And the pastor sitting and said, yes, she has sowed a seed unto Lord. It is sheer ignorance. Or the pastor is teaching it out of greed to satisfy his lust for his financial gain. So, the Bible was silent of the role of the husband of Anna as regarding the vow of Anna. But definitely, it is very clear that the husband did not oppose her. Otherwise, she wouldn't have had the authority to give her Samuel unto God in the manner in which she did, devote him unto God in the temple.